So what we have here today is the base model M for iMac, and I wanted to test it out to see if it's any good in 2025, considering it has a hefty $1,300 price tag. And with it being the base model, it does have the standard M4 chip with an 8-core CPU and 8-core GPU, 16 gigabytes of unified memory, and a 256 gigabyte SSD. The iMac itself is 24 inches with a 4.5K Retina display, and it comes in a whole array of colors. I decided to opt for the standard silver one. Now, when it comes to the unboxing experience, I gotta say it's very premium. It comes in a nice large box with a grab handle on the top, along with a graphic of the front, the sides, and even the back on the box. After opening up the box, you have the iMac sitting right smack in the center, and the screen and the stand is actually connected as one. And underneath that, you have your accessories tray. And here you have your power adapter with the brick itself. And underneath that, you have your documentation, which sadly does not have any Apple stickers. Then you have your power cable, which connects to the brick itself. Next up, you have your Apple Magic Keyboard, along with a USB-C port, which can be used for charging the keyboard. And then you have your Apple Magic Mouse 2 with the very questionable charging location. All of the accessories are color matched to the iMac itself. So if you've got like a blue one, all of your accessories will also be blue. Now, unwrapping all of the packaging for the iMac, we can reveal the beautiful large screen. So you have two USB-C ports, a webcam, a power button, and then a headphone jack. And all you have to do to set this thing up is to just plug in the magnetic adapter. And it's very sturdy and strong, so if you were to ever pull at it by accident, it's not gonna come out. Now, powering the system on for the very first time, it's gonna prompt you to connect all of your wireless accessories like your keyboard and mouse. And after turning those peripherals on, it only takes literally a second for it to connect. The rest of the setup process is very straightforward, just going through all of the prompts. It only takes about 5 minutes to get to your desktop. Now, one of my biggest complaints right off the bat is the lack of ports. You only have two USB-C ports in the back, which I think is just simply not enough for any use case. But thanks to our sponsor Benfei, they have made a solution. They are a tech brand specializing in audio-video connectivity, and they send over their 4-in-1 memory card adapter along with their 7-in-1 hub. The first unit we're looking at is the 4-in-1 memory card reader. It comes in a nice box, and it is compatible with SD cards, CF Express, MS, TF cards, and the adapter can be plugged into USB-C or USB-A. The second adapter is the 7-in-1 hub, so you have a USB-C port, 3 USB-A ports, an SD card slot, and a micro SD card slot. This is gonna give you a lot more functionality with the iMac, considering it only has 2 usable ports in the back. And these adapters are also compatible with a wide variety of devices, so if you have a MacBook, an iPad, even a Windows PC, it works for pretty much anything. So if you guys wanna check them out, there'll be a link in the description below. Alrighty, so of course we gotta do our classic stress test with the M4 iMac, and typically in my fashion, I like to do a real test, not a benchmarks test, because that doesn't really mean anything. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the About This Mac to show you guys exactly the specs that we have on here. So this is the 24-inch 2024 iMac. It has the M4 chip, which is the base standard version, along with 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now, the storage on here is also the base size at only 256 gigabytes. Their 256 gigabyte SSDs typically are the slower variant because it's a single chip rather than a dual chip. So let's get started with this test here. I'm gonna open up the Finder and go to the Applications tab. And in here, we're gonna open up every single application available on here to see how quickly it boots up. 57 items. Yes, sir. And here we go. Everything's going nice and quickly, as you can see. I've done this test numerous times on the MacBook Air, MacBook Pros that we have available right now. And as you can see, it's very, very capable. We have opened pretty much every single application that is available on this iMac. I'm gonna just close these menus out because it's kind of blocking my view here. My goodness. So we're gonna go on YouTube, browse around. And as you can see, we have all the stuff open on the bottom here, still pending. So yeah, we're gonna be navigating around YouTube. As you can see, everything is buttery smooth with the scrolling. And we're gonna open up another tab and let's go to Apple's website. You know, do a little bit of web browsing. And as you can see, this machine is very, very capable. I'm gonna go ahead and actually launch up an 8K video on YouTube to see the graphics performance while also running all this stuff in the background. The actual display is about 4.5K, so it's not an 8K display, but we should be able to run this video smoothly. So we selected 8K resolution, and let's just skip through it and put it onto full screen to see how it plays back. And as you can see, very smooth, very responsive. I'm gonna skip through this video a little bit as well to see how quickly it can jump. Pretty solid. I'm gonna, very responsive, very quick Skip over here, yet again, loads up instantly. So if we're looking at the system and the user here, we're utilizing about 50% of the processing power. The rest of it is pretty much chilling. And then over here on the memory tab, we are using 14 gigabytes of RAM out of the 16. In terms of swap memory, only about 640 megabytes, so not too bad. Now, something I do want to test out is actually the speakers. I already actually tested it off camera, and I gotta say, it actually sounds really dang good. So, very deep tone, I love that. Very crisp. I gotta say, the speakers on here are definitely better than like a MacBook, whether it's a MacBook Air or MacBook Pro. I think this speaker is significantly better. Let's put some classy stuff on. So anyways, we're gonna open up Photoshop, Lightroom, and we're also gonna use Lightroom Classic, which was a request from one of our viewers. Lightroom Classic is a lot more RAM intensive, so I really wanna see how this thing handles that. And then we're also gonna open up Premiere Pro. So now I'm gonna import a video, which I'm gonna be using the Benfei adapters, which is a sponsor of this video. And we do have some USB-C ports in the back. So I'm gonna just reach back here, plug that sucker in there. I'm gonna grab an SD card and I'm gonna just slide it right into here. And right away, it showed up in our Finder, showing you how quickly the actual USB-C ports can read files. And we're gonna be doing a variety of editing tests from 4K footage to 8K footage to see which one it can handle. So I'm gonna select all our footage and just import it into our project here. And I'm gonna start a new sequence from one of the clips. Alrighty, so we have two clips in our timeline here. The clip all the way over here on the left side is a 4K video clip, and the one on the right side is gonna be our 8K video clip. So first we're gonna work with the 4K clip. I'm gonna scrub through it, and as you guys can see, it's pretty dang smooth. Look at that. Scrubbing is no problem. And if I play it back, very smooth, you know, very responsive. Everything just works as expected. And then we're gonna move over to the 8K clip, but yet again, we are on a 4K timeline. I'm gonna actually reduce the scale of it so you can see the full actual clip here. And let's scrub through it. And oof, look at that. It's a little bit choppy now. So you can see that 8K video is definitely a little bit harsh on the base model M4 chip. You know, scrubbing through, you can definitely see the frames are skipping and a lot of times it's frozen. I'm gonna try to see if I can play it back. And okay, see, it seems to play back pretty okay. It's just a little slow, okay. So yeah, definitely a little bit choppy for an 8K video. I mean, this is a base M4 chip, so I don't expect it to be smooth in 8K. But if we hop back over to the left clip, which is the 4K clip, yet again, buttery smooth playback, buttery smooth scrubbing. So it's very capable for anything that's 4K and less. Anyways, let's jump over to Lightroom, the standard version first, the cloud-based one, and let's see if we can actually edit some photos on here. And these are actually raw photo files, so they're a lot more intense and a lot larger. So if I start adjusting any of the lighting settings, as you can see, it's very instant and very responsive. It's not choppy or lagging behind. Highlights are going, you know, shadows are working. So very, very seamless, as you can see. So this machine is pretty capable, even though it's a base model. We have all this stuff open in the background. You can do your 4K video editing, you can do your photo editing while actually still running all that stuff in the back. Now I do hear the fan actually kicking on very slightly. It's not loud or anything, there's like a light hum going on. So here we have the image on Photoshop, and let's just add a text layer. Let's type hello there. You know, then you can, you know, resize it, move it around. As you can see, very smooth operation here. We're going to the transform. Let's go to warp, and let's just start, you know, manipulating the image a little bit, changing it up just like that. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, the newest test that I haven't done before is using Lightroom Classic. So this is an offline version of Lightroom, but it is a lot more RAM intensive. So here we have Lightroom Classic opened up, and we have the same image that we have been working on earlier. And I'm gonna start messing around with the settings here. Contrast, all right. Everything just works, look at that. Buttery smooth. All the adjustments are being applied pretty much instantly. Now let's go ahead and go back to the activity monitor and take a look at what's going on here. So we are still using 14 gigabytes of physical memory, but then the swap memory has suddenly increased all the way to 6 gigabytes. So yeah, this thing is basically being maxed out right now, but even so, it is very, very smooth. CPU usage has also increased, closer to around 80% combined usage, 20% idle. So yeah, even for a base model, the performance on this thing is actually bonkers. And I don't even think this machine is gonna be heat soaked or thermal throttling as much as something like a MacBook Air, because it does have a physical fan in here, kind of similar to the MacBook Pros. So overall, I gotta say the base model M4 iMac is a pretty solid computer. Not only is it very powerful, but also a very convenient setup. Everything that comes in a kit is very user-friendly, especially for a beginner. The whole entire system is just powered by one cord. You get the computer itself, you get the screen, your peripherals like a mouse and keyboard, you get a built-in webcam and a speaker system. So all in all, it's a pretty good package. I have no complaints about the actual machine itself, but the biggest thing I have a hard time wrapping my head around is the price of $1,300. If you take a look at the base model M4 Mac Mini, coming in at only $600, it has the exact same specs. Now sure, it doesn't come with any accessories, you don't get a monitor, you don't get any peripherals with it, but you can actually build your own custom setup by getting a 4K monitor that's 27 inches, and those are gonna run you around $200. You can get a wireless mouse and keyboard for around $35, and if you want to complete the set, you can get a webcam for only $25. So all in all, for a custom Mac Mini setup, you're only spending about $850, and you're getting pretty much the same exact stuff as the iMac, but actually even better. And the $450 that you saved can be used towards upgrading the Mac Mini to have even better performance. So when it comes to the value proposition of an iMac, I definitely think you're slightly overpaying for what you're getting. You're basically getting a $600 Mac Mini performance in a $1,300 package. Now that's not to say to completely avoid the iMac. I still think it's a great product if you want to have something that's easy to set up, someone who doesn't want to have a lot of cables everywhere, everything just works seamlessly together, and also if you just want to have the overall aesthetics of an iMac because everything looks very coherent and sleek. Now if you are absolutely in love with the iMac design and the overall use case of it, I would actually look into the refurb or secondhand market. There's plenty of M3 iMacs going for around $700 to $800, which I think is pretty worth the price. The M4 variant though is still pretty much holding around its retail price around $1,200 to $1,300-ish, just because it is the most latest model. But personally, I would not be spending anything over $1,000 to get an iMac setup, considering the Mac Mini is significantly cheaper. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.